Hey guys, it's Taboo here and welcome to my next video of Taboo's Tips. Now, this video, Taboo's Tips, is going to be around PvP and how to really increase your skill. Now, I want to make clear, by no means at all do I say I am a skilled PvPer. I am probably quite the opposite. But one of the things I do enjoy in this game is taking part and having a bit of PvP. Now, of course, like most other things, what you can do is get better at this. Now, of course, there are always going to be the parts where you can say, oh, this person's faster reactions, etc, etc. But there are ways you can improve. And this video is just going to go over a couple of ways that you can better yourself as a PvPer in this game. Now, I will just say, I made this video before the patch came out, so obviously there wasn't dueling in, and a few skills might be a slight bit different. So if you're watching this thinking, oh, hang on, for instance, that legendary beast power is on a longer cooldown, that's why. But again, just a reminder, this isn't a tamer video, this isn't a ranger video, this isn't a wizard video, this is just general. And we're going to get into some key things that you can do. Okay, so my first tip, and this is going to be the quickest tip I've probably ever given. When you're dueling, remember it is a game. Yes, it can be frustrating sometimes if you keep dying, if you keep getting killed. But hey, it doesn't matter, it's just a game. You've got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be motivated yourself to try and improve. So that's really the first thing. No matter who you're dueling, what you're doing, even if the numbers are against you, don't get angry. And if you feel like you're just getting angry or fed up, just change, go do something else. No one is making you do this practice. You should be doing this practice for you and you only. So if you feel like you're getting forced into doing it, just stop. Everyone's allowed to get annoyed at things. You are, I am, everyone is. But don't make it that when you're doing this, you feel yourself getting really angry, because it will make you play worse and you'll just find yourself getting more and more frustrated. So that's my first tip. So, like everything else in life, if you want to get better at something, the thing you have to do is keep doing it over and over again. That is one of the best ways to learn how to do something. So, obviously for PvP, there is no difference. So that brings me to my first Taboo's tip for trying to improve your PvP skill. Find a dueling partner. Now, whether this is someone in your guild like I'm currently doing in the video, but find someone who's happy to spend half an hour or longer in the arena and literally just keep fighting each other, because at the end of the day, it's the only way to learn. Now, in the videos in the background, I'll give you a prime example. I haven't actually had much time to practice against berserkers in our GVGs that we've been doing recently. I just don't see them, and to be fair, I'm probably not necessarily a key target for a berserker. I presume normally they want to jump in, get like a wizard or a witch or a ranger. So I thought for both of us it was quite a nice practice, and we both learnt a lot from this. So literally just being able to throw ourselves at each other and practice over and over again was such a good way to learn some new things. But don't forget, if you do this, one, don't get frustrated if you lose. Some classes naturally are going to be better at other classes. That's just how this game works. But also, don't just duel one person. In this, you will see I've dueled two different berserkers, but also don't just duel the same class. The only reason I'm only dueling berserkers at the moment is because, one, I need some practice against them, and two, they were the only two at the time who were willing and ready to do a bit of PvP with me. So my next tip is talk to people. Now, in this video, yes, it's going to be silent, but I'm actually on comms with the people who I'm fighting, because that's one of the best ways to learn, so we can talk to each other about what's happening. And this way, we're going to explain to each other how our moves work. Now, I'll give you a nice example of this. One of the questions I got was, when the wolf starts going crazy in the air, which is after I do my void lightning, both the people who I was dueling at the time wasn't 100% sure if that was a guaranteed stun if they walked into it, which, to all my knowledge, it is. So when I told them about that, obviously it helped them improve their gameplay. And just as I learned that if they come up to me and get me in one of these grabs, I could be CC'd for a long time. Now, I do realise that's changed in the patch, but this is something we'll find out. But there are a lot of other things that you can find out from playing against people, such as damage numbers. What are high damage skills? Most of the time, people will tell you quite happily what they've talented into. Now, of course, again, at the moment, as I'm fighting a berserker, half of it is the fact they are a meat shield. As you know, berserker's got a huge amount of health, and I think it's only going to get worse in this newest patch. But it's so great to be able to fight them, because really, I know their damage has been increased as well, but they're such a fun looking class to play, and to be able to learn to go against them was brilliant. So another tip to increase your PvP potential is to actually watch. Yes, if you watch what other people are doing, you learn so much from seeing what people can and can't do. Now this is really interesting. So over time, what you can do when you watch is sort of take some notes. Now you don't have to get a pen and paper out, of course, but take some mental notes. Watch how people are playing. Watch how realistically in these videos you'll see that after a berserker's charge and hit you, he's going to do another grab, or he's going to try and throw you around. So these sort of things are really useful. Now if I was going to try and take this to the next level, and it's something that I should try and think about doing to get prepared for Siege Wars, which are now exceptionally imminent, is start learning the names of some of the moves, just so I understand when people are saying do this, do this. And again, it goes back to other points of when I've said, you know, talk to people, they will tell you. I know what some of them are called, but I can't remember them yet. Now again, this is a really nice way to learn, just by sitting back and watching. You might think, oh yeah, but I want to get in, I'm not learning anything, I'm not doing it. You are learning, you're passively learning, you're seeing what people are doing. And when you watch this, you start thinking, oh, maybe, hang on, if I framed there, or if I got behind them in this position, I could really mess up people's combos. And combos in this game, don't forget, are key. So if you can stop and slow down someone's combo, you're really going to stop and nerf their damage output. Following on from the last tip, and it actually joins into another one as well. When you're watching people, try and find someone your same class to watch, because they might have some different tricks up their sleeve which you don't know. Now, for instance, when I first started Tamer, I'd, gone online and watched a few videos, but I still wasn't so sure on what things did. And it was only because I watched another Tamer duel, I thought, oh, I didn't realise I could do that. Well, oh, I didn't realise that was so useful. But when you watch someone else, you'll tend to see things and pick them up, and it is so useful. And most of the time, I do mean most of the time, people are willing to help. You don't tend to get the noob sort of fire back if you ask a question. Most people really are helpful and wouldn't mind sharing their secrets with you. I'm sure they're not going to say, okay, I found the ultra secret mega hidden combo where I can 100 to 0 someone instantly. But then again, I don't know if they're quite out yet, and I still hope they don't. But yeah, people tend to be quite nice when it comes to asking questions. Now, I'm going to join this point again with another one. If you do find that one person and he has taught you some things, duel them. Or in this case, go into the arena with them. Let them show you what they're doing and see if they can let you do it back. Because they'll turn around and say, okay, for instance, I'm just going to do a Tamer one here. They might try and do a bolt and jolt into a stun. And you might think, oh, but I've always bolt jolted into Legendary Beast power. Why would I do that? And let them show you why it's useful. Let them tell you why and learn it and give it a go. And if you think it works, do it again. If it doesn't fit your playstyle, that's not a problem. But yeah, talking to people and learning is one of the key things. So, I've said at the start, what you need to do is to get in and start practicing. I said you need to talk to people, and I said you need to watch and learn. Now, when you start feeling a bit more comfortable with your class, the next point is always try and challenge yourself. Put yourself in real life situations. Now, okay, real life situations. Real in-game situations. Now, a good example of this is when I turned around to the two berserkers I was fighting and said, okay, guys, let's try 2-on-1. Now the reason why I said this was more real life, realistically in a guild versus guild, the chance of one berserker just coming out the bushes and trying to attack me is going to be quite slim. There's going to be 2, 3, well it's probably going to be a lot more than that. But I thought if I can practice with 2, practicing survivability is just as key. And that gives me an opportunity to test 2 things, and this is what I'd really suggest that you do as well. Have a fight where you're basically telling both of the other 2 to try and kill you. You don't necessarily have to do damage, but survive. Now, I'm not saying just run away, and this is no dig at bladers, but I'm not saying just sort of zoom around and run away, because if you know you can do that, that's fine. But try and find different ways. Try and use your moves defensively. Try and do, for instance, like a defensive stun, a defensive stiffen. Try and do something which you think is going to keep them off you. Now that would be the first step, and then if you're still feeling comfortable with that, try and do it where you're saying, right, I want to do a 2-on-1 here. I want to try and kill both of you. Now there are some, say, tips for doing that, and it's the same with other things. If you want to do a 2v1, the best thing that you can try and do is to try and focus on getting one person out. Now, it doesn't mean blindly go after one person over and over, because if they're running away and someone else is hitting you, then you want to change target. But what it does mean, especially if it's melee, if you focus on one person and they start to disengage, you can now trickyly try and CC either the person who's attacking you or go and start turning your damage on them, so they have to start blowing their defensives. So it is something you can think about when you're doing this sort of thing, and it is interesting. Yes, when you do a 2 versus 1, you're probably going to die quite a lot of the time, or you're going to die a lot, but it's definitely worth giving a go, because if you do it, you're going to learn some more skills. And mainly this survivability, this picking your fight, and it's very important for classes like tamers and sorceresses in this example, where you are an assassin. Your job is an assassin. You're not there to face tank people. You want to go in, pick a target, kill it, and get out as quick as possible. So it's very good to practice this. And finally, it is worth saying though that if you're dueling someone, don't be afraid to ask what their gear is. I know you see people saying APDP probably all the time now, but you can ask them, and the reason why I say ask them this is because if you do that, you can try and normalise your gear. So for instance, okay, without sounding like I'm tooting my own horn, I'm on the higher side of AP now. Now, luckily the other night I finally got that Leverto to 15, which makes a difference, which is great. But if I'm fighting someone who's a bit newer to the game and they say, okay, my DP is only 90 something, I'll just take off some accessories. Now, obviously, it can be a bit harder to take off some of your DP stuff if you got it from gear, but you know, you're trying to help people out here, don't forget that. So if you want to try and take off some gear to help normalise it a bit, I think you should, and it's something that I do quite often just to try and, I don't want to say even out the fields, but make it feel like people aren't fighting an uphill force all the time. Keep in mind, this game, I do love it, it's a brilliant game, but items play such a heavy part in PvP. Now, yes, if you're very, very good and you get your right combos off, you can pretty much stun lock people no matter what items that they have. But ultimately, if someone's, and okay, I'm going to use a tamer here, if someone's Whiplash has got 40 or 50 more AP than someone else's, it doesn't matter really. If you get 3 hits off of that Whiplash, it's going to do considerably more, and it's the same if their DP's lower. So try and normalise it, and try and ask someone to normalise their gear if you're on the lower side as well. Most people don't mind, they really don't. So it's worth mentioning there is a dueling etiquette which goes around. Now, what you'll see in this video, there might not be so much of it done, mainly because I'm on comms with these guys, so they know when we're about to start. But the normal rules of thumbs are, if you're going to run into arena and you're seeing 2 people fight, they're probably not there for an all-on-all skirmish. They're probably actually trying to practice and duel each other. So don't just run in and start showing, oh, I can kill you both, because they're probably only focusing on each other. Now, if they want to do a skirmish and an all-v-all, perfect, do it, but don't be afraid to ask. So normally a couple of the rules are, before you start a fight, you'll see people type R, and R just simply means ready. And you look at someone, you say R, they'll say R back, and then that's basically you saying, right, we're both ready to go, let's do this. And that's a nice one really, because it stops you getting charged in or stunned straight away when you're hardly ready. So that is quite a nice one, and it's definitely worth keeping that in mind. Another, and this is probably really the only other key one, ask about pots. Normally, when I'm in the arena, the rule is no health pots. Now, though that might necessarily be completely balanced because some classes are balanced around using health pots, I guess. Yeah, that's just the rule, and I think wizards probably have a bit of a hard time here because some people say they're healing, they should be able to heal. I personally think they should because it's one of their spells, so you should learn to counter it. But hey, it's worth asking if you're a wizard, just double check or just make these clear, because again, like I said at the start, you want to have fun, and you can't necessarily have fun if you think that, you know, you're getting hard done by. As far as mana pots and sort of resource pots go, which aren't health pots, most of the time this is considered okay. Some people will say no, but most of the time it's okay, because I think it's sort of common knowledge that a lot of classes really do need these to be able to put out good DPS. Now, as of the patch, they might start saying no a bit more, just because you have your sort of passive, your left click attack now to rank, well, 10 or full rank, whatever it is. So you will have that back, so it's not like your auto attacks don't do much. I personally always say to people, yeah, mana pots completely fine, but we'll just ignore health pots. And the reason you ignore health pots is because if you die here, you don't lose anything. That is important. If you die in a duel, if you die in an arena, you're not going to lose gems, you don't lose experience, you don't lose anything. You don't have anything to lose. Okay, if you're one of those people, you could say your pride, but it shouldn't be like that. You should be here to learn. And if you're at a stage where you think you've got no more learning to do, which if you're there, you know, congratulations, you might be at a stage where you want to try and help others and help develop people. Now, of course, we're talking about the guilds here, but if you're in a guild, help your guild out, because at the end of the day, it will benefit you in the future. So there we have it, a few tips to really hopefully help you develop your PvP skills. Now of course some of these aren't necessarily things that you can go sit down and start reading about, but really the looking, the listening and the talking aspects are so important, and also it helps bring the community together, and for an MMO it's so important that we have that. So please, I hope that everyone who watches this is going to be in the arena, is going to be dueling and going to get ready for Siege Wars, because I know personally I'm really looking forward to when these come out. So hopefully I'll see you on the battlefield. Bye everybody. And one more thing, this was my favourite little sound clip of the whole dueling experience. This is what happens when you ask two berserkers to group with each other. Bye everyone.
So group up, don't stomp me twice. What's wrong with you, man?